Today we're diving into a question that's pretty profound, one that gets right to the heart of Buddhist philosophy. How can you truly see the Buddha? A teacher who lived and died over 2,500 years ago. Is that even possible? So let's start right there with that big question. How do you actually connect with someone from that far back in history? And we're not just talking about, reading a book about them. We mean a real, genuine connection. And believe me, the answer is probably not what you're thinking. Okay, first things first, we have to completely rethink what it means to see. The teachings really challenge our most basic idea that seeing is just something you do with your eyes. And this quote comes from the Buddha himself. What is the use of seeing this rotting corpse? Wow. I mean, that's incredibly blunt, right? It was designed to shake his followers and stop them from getting too attached to his physical body. The point was never about what he looked like. It was about something way, way deeper. This brings up such a fascinating paradox. The Buddha taught that you could be right there, literally holding onto his robe or walking right behind him, but if your mind was full of greed or anger or just not paying attention, you were actually miles away from him. Your physical closeness meant absolutely nothing without mental and spiritual clarity. So if it's not about seeing a physical person, then what is it about? This is where we get to the real heart of the matter, the core revelation of this whole teaching. And there it is. The answer is so simple and yet so profound. He who sees the Dhamma sees me. The Dhamma, that's the truth, the teaching, the fundamental law of how reality works. So to see the Buddha is to understand his teaching. It's an internal shift, not an external one. And what's great is that there's a clear path laid out here. It's a logical progression. To see the Buddha, you have to see the Dhamma. And to really truly see the Dhamma, you have to understand this core principle called paticcasamuppada, or dependent origination. So what is this big, complicated-sounding word? Well, in simple terms, paticcasamuppada is the teaching that nothing exists all by itself. Everything, and I mean everything, arises because of other things. It's like the ultimate law of cause and effect. And when you start to grasp this deep interconnectedness, you're starting to see the world as the Buddha did. Okay, so we know we need to understand the teaching, but whose version of it? There are so many out there. This next point is absolutely critical for anyone trying to learn about these ideas. The Buddha was really, really clear on this. He said that after he was gone, his physical body was gone for good. Nobody, not humans, not even gods, was going to see it again. This just hammers home the idea that trying to see him physically is a total dead end. The only thing that's left is the teaching itself. This is so important. It is incredibly easy to get lost in all the different interpretations and commentaries that have been written over centuries. The advice here is pretty direct. Try to bypass all of that, at least to start, and go directly to the source. Focus on the words of the teacher himself. And this just lays it out perfectly. The path to real understanding is through that primary source, the Buddha's actual words. It's not that secondary sources aren't helpful, but the core of the practice is to really grapple with the original teaching yourself. So let's pull all of this together. We've basically broken down one idea of seeing and replaced it with something much more powerful. So what does all this mean for us, right here, right now? The ultimate takeaway is this. Seeing the Buddha isn't about having some kind of vision or going back in time. It's an internal act. It's about doing the work to cultivate the wisdom to see reality as it is, to see the Dhamma. That is the one and only true way to connect with the teacher. And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. This whole principle, seeking the core teaching instead of getting distracted by the external form, that can apply to almost any field of knowledge. So the real question becomes, now that you know true sight comes from understanding, what will you seek to understand?